and they have to be fought, and they have to be defeated. And thinking alone isn't going to do it. The idea is that thinking and writing and sometimes appearing in the media and proselytizing conservatism will magically penetrate the minds of undecided and uninformed people and persuade them. It's not how it happens. Well, not in mass. It doesn't happen. Now, the big controversy today, I first got wind of this last night. There's a headline out there, CNN has an exclusive. This is not quite fake news, but it's almost as bad. FBI refused White House request to knock down recent Trump-Russia stories. Now, first, let me tell you what the Trump-Russia stories are. They're told the New York Times that agents of the Trump campaign were in contact with Russia during the campaign and discussing ways to sabotage the Hillary campaign. That story came long after the narrative that the Russians hacked the election, the Russians stole the election, Hillary should have won, Trump's victory is illegitimate. That makes his agenda illegitimate. It makes his Supreme Court nominees illegitimate. It makes his cabinet illegitimate. In fact, nothing about Trump is legit because he was elected by virtue of fraud. That's the narrative that has been covered and used to describe the Trump presidency since the night of the election and the day after, doubling and tripling down on it. And then within that foundation having been laid, there came a story in October, and guess what? Not only did the Russians hack, not only did the Russians tamper, which is a preposterous impossibility. The New York Times story in October claimed that there were people, the Trump campaign, talking to the Russians. No evidence. The New York Times is very clear deep down the story. No evidence to support this. It was just sources saying so. The New York Times ran the same story about 3 weeks ago with updates. There weren't any updates. They just reran the story. They claimed to have a little bit more sourcing, but even in the story 3 weeks ago, experts have yet to find any concrete evidence. There is no evidence. Now, at the same time the New York Times story 3 weeks ago ran, the Wall Street Journal came out on a Wednesday night with a news alert alleging the same thing. That Trump operatives were in contact with Putin and Russian government operatives during the campaign for the express purpose of sabotaging. It turned out that the Wall Street Journal story the next day also contained basically the same stuff. No evidence to support any of this. It's just nameless